There's a project going around maths YouTube at the moment called Mega Fave Numbers, where people are invited to talk about their favourite numbers over 1,000,000. Now, while I have to use a lot of maths in my job, I'm not the kind of mathematician who knows a lot about specific large numbers. However, I am at the intersection of people who get nerdy about mathematics and people who get nerdy about fictional languages. Of course, Tom Scott's also in that intersection, but Tom Scott is admirably at the intersection of all possible topics that one could get nerdy about. So what I'm curious about is, if I look at some of the most common and well-known fictional languages, am I going to find any interesting large numbers, and particularly any symbols which represent large numbers in and of themselves, sort of like how Roman numerals, they go up to 1,000 with the letter M. Let's start with the godfather of fictional conlanging, J.R.R. Tolkien, and have a look at some of his Elvish languages. In Sindarin, the highest number I could find was Meneg, meaning 1,000, and in Quenya, it was 1,000,000, or Mindora. Both of these are using a positional numeral system, although interestingly it's a base 12 system, so both systems do have a digit that goes up to 11. What about something more recent? Game of Thrones has been credited for reinvigorating interest in fictional conlangs. Unfortunately, both Valyrian and Dothraki don't have their own writing system and then don't have their own numeral system. So while we had words for 1,000 or Pirius in Valyrian and Yor for 1,000,000 in Dothraki, we don't have any interesting symbols. What about Skyrim? The writing system of the dragon language is based off cuneiform, which had unique symbols up to 59, so maybe they have something. Well, unfortunately, while they do use a cuneiform based alphabet, it doesn't actually have numeral systems, so we have the word for 1,000 or unen, but no symbol. Maybe we'll have more luck in Sci-Fi. Let's head first to the planet of Pandora with the Na'vi. Now, they're not supposed to be that technologically advanced, so their numbering system doesn't actually go that high, only as high as a number called Zazam. But interestingly, this is a base 8 counting system. So this is octal 10,000, which is equivalent to decimal 4,096. Maybe a bit further into the future, let's try Star Trek. Well, the Klingons have a word for million, or ui, but this is still written in a positional system, so we essentially just have the same digits as 1 to 9. Vulcan takes us an order of magnitude higher with moh meaning billion, but this drawing in the middle is a word rather than a single symbol. If we're writing it out, we still have the symbol for 1 followed by 9 zeros. If we want something a bit more interesting, we'll have to go to my favourite conlangs from the game Star Citizen, where although both the Banu and Xi'an languages have a positional system that they can use where we just use the digits, they also have traditional systems which use a very different setup. For Xi'an, this is accomplished by having symbols for the powers of 10, which are then followed by a multiplicator, so you have 10,000 times 2 to give 20,000. The highest power of 10 which has a unique symbol is 1,000,000, or Chea. There are higher symbols, but they're kind of derivative, so for example this is Che and trillion, but that's kind of just saying 1,000,000,000,000, so I think Che is really as high as we can count. In Yufutsu Banu you have symbols up to 10, and then there are diacritics which multiply these by 10, 100 or 1,000. This gets you as high as 100,000, which has its own symbol, and then further diacritics are used to get you up to 100 million. So a number traditionally written out will have, again, multiplicators for anything over 10,000, but then the unique symbols for, say, 3,400 as shown here. But this brings me to what I think is my mega fave number. It is Ktiko. This is the Banu symbol for 1,000,000,000. It is a symbol that means 1,000,000,000. You can't go higher than this without essentially repeating or deriving from this. There aren't even symbols with diacritics that go higher than this. So that is my mega fave number from fictional constructed languages. If you enjoyed the video, please consider leaving a like and a comment, and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy strange tangents of nerdy sci-fi goodness.